This is the future.
What's up, YouTube and Facebook, and welcome back to Not Quite Mint. Today's episode is another key comic episode with a spotlight around Venom, if you couldn't tell by our little things underneath. So we're going to go through our keys of the week, top 5. We're going to do a few honourable mentions, and we're then going to do a little bit of a spotlight on Venom himself. So, Rich, shall we get into it?
It would be a good idea, wouldn't it? So, yeah, guys, we're going to try and be quite short and snappy with this as much as we possibly can. Tom's mentioned we've got key comics, and then we've got spotlight keys for Venom. If you are new to the channel, make sure that you do hit subscribe down below. If you want to stay in touch and not miss any of our content, hit the little bell icon, and then the world will be up whenever we do want to go live. And also, guys, down in the comments, let us know what you think of this week's keys. Are there any that you're going to be buying? Are there any that you won't be buying? Or have we missed any? Because this week's quite a mental week, isn't it, Tom? We had a bit of a difficulty. So I don't know if we want to get motoring into it. So
let's do it, mate.
Let's do it. So I'll pick
start
up
with the honourable,
because this one's kind of, yeah. So this one's a bit of an honourable mention. I don't think there's any particular key values in terms of anything major happening in there. But it's not a book that I've read either. It's Savage Dragon. It is issue 250. And it's a big 100-page, 250th issue anniversary special. So I know nothing about Savage Dragon. So I don't know if you have got any thoughts, mate.
No, I mean, all I know is it's written and drawn by Eric Larson, and he worked on the Hellboy book that I spoke about on our Hellboy spotlight a few weeks back. But I haven't read Savage Dragon, I'll be perfectly honest. But I do know a lot about him as you see a lot of him in the books and things, and I know they're doing quite a few homage covers to this. So it could be could be one to pick up if you're interested in homage covers. Could be a really good one if you're a Savage Dragon fan. But if not, it's got no first appearances or anything like that, so it's not a major key or anything. What's up, Grey Man? Welcome to the show.
Grey Man.
We move on then, Rich. What's next?
Indeed. So what we'll do next, mate, is we've got another kind of bit of a notable, which is this one, mate.
All right. So, yeah, this is Captain Marvel issue 17, and this is going to be the first appearance of Nexus, which is a villain, apparently. But they've mentioned the fact that this villain is going to be in this issue. It's going to be her first appearance or his first appearance, but they're probably never going to make another appearance after that. However, I think because Captain Marvel's got such a massive tie-in with Empire, it might be worth getting, as if so you want to know what's going on in Empire. It could be worth picking up for that one. What do you think, Rich?
Yeah, I'm a bit like that as well. I know that I think it's issue 18, which is out in a couple of weeks or a month's time. That Captain Marvel is getting hold of one of these special cosmic weapons, and he's going to become the Accuser or something like that. So it's probably
his position.
Yeah. So it's going to be quite a good lead in to what's going to be happening through that in Empire. And to be fair, I'm always shocked how many decent keys actually end up coming out of Captain Marvel in general, really.
Yeah, she has quite a few.
Possibly one to get. Yeah. I think was it Khan or whatever her name is, the current Ms. Marvel.
She was in. Yeah, you are right, mate. Yeah.
So it's one of those ones where I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but it's always one to look out for these keys, definitely. So that's that one. Next up, we'll talk a little bit about Spider-Woman 2. So this one, I believe, is first appearance of the daughter of Otto Vermis. Now, we did read the first issue of this, didn't we? The new Spider-Woman. So it's pretty good, to be fair. I was they put a lot of the first issue in previews, didn't they? So like I remember reading the story and then being like, I've read this before, but where have I read it? And it was like a couple of months before in the previews mag, but it wasn't. It was quite a good issue, really. So but I don't know about Otto Vermis or the characters and stuff. So unless you can fill in the gaps on that one, Tom.
No, I don't know anything about this first appearance of this character at all. But I would take a slight guess from her outfit that she's got something to do with the event. Like I think her name's Viper. It's a character that was in the Hydra kind of universe. So I think she might have something to do with that. But I might be wrong. Just because she's wearing green doesn't mean she's going to be a Hydra bad guy. Forbidden Planet are watching. I'm still missing my J. Scott Campbell Spider-Woman issue 1, please.
When did you order that? That's like they've been out.
Like way before lockdown.
Oh man, I don't think I've seen any of them in the shops either. To be fair, so
no.
I swear, like I'm
actually, my J. Scott Campbell's got it. J. Scott Campbell, if you're watching, I'm still missing my Spider-Woman issue 1.
Well. With everything that's going on with Corona, who knows? Who knows? Anyway, mate. Next up, we have got... What's that?
We're into the top 5 now.
We are, I believe, into the top 5. Let me just have a quick count. So 1, 2, 3. We've actually only got 4 left, so we are cooking on gas. We've got 3. Or definitely 2 issues that we're probably going to want to talk about quite a bit more. So that's it. We will wibble, but try not to too much. But anyway, so next up, we've got this one, which is we don't have them very often, do we? Fantastic Four keys, Tom. So do you want to talk a bit about this one?
Yeah, okay. So this one is written by Dan Slott. I'm actually a writer I quite like. However, I found some of his more recent stuff not as good as his Spider-Man run. But I'm interested to read this one because it's the first team up of Wolverine, Hulk, Spider-Man, and Ghost Rider, who were actually part of the Fantastic Four back. I couldn't tell you the date, but the issue number was 347. So it is really cool that they're going to put these all back together. I love it. I mean, who wouldn't want to see Spider-Man and Wolverine team up as part of the Fantastic Four? I'm quite looking forward to reading this one. It's one of those ones that I think it's a key because I'm excited about reading it because of these characters, but I wouldn't say it was one of those major keys that you've got to rush out and get because it's going to be worth something in the future. It's definitely just one of those fan service kind of keys for us all to get involved in for this Empire situation. So yeah, what do you think, Rich?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like I'm collecting the Silver Age Fantastic Four, so I haven't got Fantastic Four on my pull listing anyway. But again, this is just one of those ones where it's again a bit like when we had that Immortal Hulk Great Power, where it was sort of like you got to see the Spider Hulk for the second time. It feels a bit like that. It's like we're leading into our event. It's obvious based upon a lot of the prelims that sort of Fantastic Four are going to be fairly central to that whole storyline, and obviously they're just trying to probably garner a bit of interest because it's a bit flat, isn't it? Fantastic Four. There's not been any really good keys happening with Fantastic Four for quite a while, I don't think.
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, I think the last keys we spoke about Fantastic Four wise were the ones where they crossed over with the X-Men. So I'm not sure about Fantastic Four as a series. I'm not sure.
No, that's what I say. Obviously with the whole Corona thing and everything, that was why I thought, I know you collect X-Men, and I was thinking, well, rather than piggyback on your coattails sort of thing, I was like, well, Fantastic Four, we know they're coming into the MCU, probably a good time to start collecting them kind of thing. So obviously I've been getting the sub 100 Fantastic Fours as much as I can, and but still that literally nothing interests me with the current story with them, you see. So it's a bit of a fun, but yeah, it's probably a bit of a fun issue, and I dare say I might pick it up if I see it in a pound bin in the future or something like that. But
yeah, I mean, I love the cover. I mean, it's really simple but effective.
Yeah. yeah, Spidey in that blue and black suit.
Love it.
Good. So next up, which one shall we do? So yeah, I've got 3 more keys to talk about. So I'll do the lesser of the 3, which is, funnily enough, linked in with this one. So it is. We do get the first issue of Empire. Now, for me, I'm kind of interested by what's going to happen in this. There's a big key, I think, coming up in issue 4, and I think these are coming out virtually every week now until the end of Empire.
I think you're right.
It's
yeah,
every other week.
It's a weekly comic. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was really shocked actually when I was looking through like a bit of a shopping list because I'm on holiday next week. I was like making sure that any of like the standalones that I can ask, obviously in the LCS to hold them for me or to take them off the shelf, so I don't miss out on any of them. And I was like, I'm sure Empire's like this week, and I'm sure Empire 2's the week after. And it was like, I was like, God, it's gonna just be, you're just gonna be inundated with it. But yeah, it's one of those ones where who knows what's going to happen in there. It's a big event, so they don't tend to do many plot spoilers. So there could be something important in this. Although we do know that in issue 4, everybody's expecting the Immortal She-Hulk to arrive. So it's one to watch, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is one to watch. This one, I think is it written by Al Ewing? This one.
I think it is Al Ewing as well, so it's kind of like a logical one for him to sort of like follow on with. Al Ewing, illustrated by Jim Chung.
Nice. It's only it's limited to a 6 series. I know that much. But what's really cool about this one is the fact that Teddy, who's Hulkling, has combined the Kree and Skrull to basically come to Earth and destroy us, even though he's been a young Avenger protecting the Earth. So I'm really interested to see how that's going to play out, because if their common enemy is us, but yet he's been protecting us from them, now he's with them. I don't understand how it's all going to play out, because obviously he's with I can't remember the name of the character now. I want to say Wiccan, but he's with that character who's a part of Earth. So how is he going to explain that to his boyfriend that, I'm coming back to Earth, but I'm going to annihilate the whole place? Like, sorry.
No.
Yeah, but it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, it's something that we haven't seen for a while, I think, as well, like the whole Kree Skrull thing, and like our favourite heroes, like sort of caught in the middle. So it's quite good. And again, it's one of those ones that I wouldn't be surprised that if in another phase of the MCU, once all these characters are embedded, like they did with sort of certain aspects of the Civil War crossovers that we've had, 10, 15 years ago, it wouldn't surprise me this does screen to something like that they could build on, because they've already got like the Krees and the Skrulls and all of these types of characters ready to come out, and they're doing a lot of stuff on Disney Plus with the Young Avengers and all this type of stuff. So it kind of does make me think things are going to catch up quite quickly, I think, with the comics. So
I think any major Marvel event that's ever happened, you should push the button on buying them if I were you, because Disney Plus are not going to run out of ideas because of what Marvel have already laid down. And I think going forward, most of the major events or first appearances will make their appearance in the Disney universe, regardless of whether you want them to or not. Like, there's going to be characters that you definitely don't want to see in the MCU that will turn up in the MCU at some point somehow. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. could be an animated thing, could be in What If, could be actually on the big screen on their own standalone movie. Do you know what I mean? Yes, I think these sorts of major events are definitely going to happen in the old like MCU universe, as it were.
Yeah, they're ones that, like, in the future, if you can pick them up at cover price, that it's never going to be harmful, like, to keep something like this in your skyrocket. But Now then, we've got, which one do we want to talk about next?
Oh, well, I'm definitely more excited about the issue 2 over issue 26.
Shall we do that one then? Cool.
Yeah.
Because there's a reason behind this, and I don't want to put too many spoilers out there for people, but I have had a bit of a spoiler today for this one, and it's Venom 26.
This really cover is incredible.
Yeah, it's is it
amazing cover.
Lee, is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the famed mystery villain variant, isn't it? So yeah, we have ordered one of these, haven't we, to sort of sit on. So, but so it's this mystery villain. I don't think he's due to make an appearance in this particular issue. However, it is the issue that is to be the first appearance of Virus. And it's rather controversial because he was supposed to be launched in the free comic book day, Amazing Spider-Man, which is actually coming out next week and not tomorrow. Yeah. I think as a result of that, this has sort of like made things go a little bit out of sync because Virus has already had a cover appearance on a retailer exclusive with Greg Horn's artwork, which I don't think I've got it in here anymore, but was that like War Machine homage thing. And then you've got, this is Virus's first actual appearance, and obviously the standard cover of this also is Virus as well. But I've heard some fairly disappointing news today of people who've got access to this issue. And I'm not going to spoil it for everybody, but it's going to be interesting talking on Thursday when we review this to see what people think. So, because you're excited,
I am excited, and I've missed that spoiler, but I have heard from you what it is. But I really hope that's kind of like people just throwing out kind of ideas, because I've heard a rumor about this character being Eddie Brock. So, I mean, I don't think that's true, but I mean, it could be. But yeah, I mean, this issue is the first issue of the new story arc, the new Beyond Venom story arc. So I'm interested to see where that's now going to go. And obviously, we're building up to this, The King in Black, which is happening in December, which is going to be another Marvel big major event. So hang on to your hats and jackets, kids.
Yeah, I can't see with the whole thing that we know that Null's on the horizon. We know he is massively involved in the whole sort of like Thor mythos, the Venom mythos, obviously being, god of the symbiotes. And it's like, do you know what I mean? It's like, what the hell is going to happen? We've got this character who, again, there's loads of people theorizing, and I really do hope it isn't a character that's already been introduced. But it's exciting times. It is exciting times. So we'll see what happens. And it's just, there's just so many arguments going on the internet.
Oh God,
around this, and first appearances and cameos, and who's who and who's going to do what. It's good, but terrible at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. We'd have to drive it.
We'll pick it up tomorrow and we'll review it on Thursday. So do make sure you come back to our live stream on Thursday when me and Tom will have had chance to read some of our picks, and we'll do some of our regular reads. We haven't got another Batman this week, have we?
No, only the next one, but it's not Batman. Well, it is Batman, but it's not Batman.
Yeah, it is, but it isn't. But yeah, so the final one we're going to talk about, and I'll let Tom do the lead-in with this one, is this one.
Dark Knight's Death Metal issue 2. Go and buy it. It's a great little series. I'm actually really... I reread issue 1 because I enjoyed it so much. I thought it was great. This particular issue is a key because we get to see the first appearance of the Darkest Knight. And we also get the cameo appearance, which would have been the first appearance, but they've changed it for some reason, of the Robin King. And the interesting speculation on this is he's one of the Robins that the Joker Who Laughs had in his army, who's going to step up and take the mantle, as it were. If you haven't read issue 1, I'm not going to tell you what happens in issue 1 or spoil it for you, but go and read it. Don't live under a rock. It's well worth reading. Issue 2, I'm really excited for. I just think Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo are going to do an amazing job with this. It's so much better than the first series, in my opinion, because the first issue is a really good standalone first issue. So I'm really hoping that this is going to be exactly the same. And it's not really confusing. I mean, the first issue of the original Metal is actually quite confusing. Whereas the first issue of Death Metal wasn't confusing at all. It's quite simple, quite easy to follow. So I'm hoping it's going to continue on into these the series that goes on. So I'm excited for this one purely to see what this Robin King situation is all about. So yeah, what do you think, Rich? Are you excited about this one?
Yeah, I mean, I've obviously been trying to catch up with the Dark Knights, and I found, like you say, the first couple of issues were quite confusing, but it does get better and feels a bit more like issue 1 did of this. And I was really, really skeptical coming into this, but by the end of the first issue, a little bit like the Deceased Dead Planet last week, it just builds up, and then it really does deliver on those last couple of pages with like a real like what the kind of moment. So yeah, I am excited for this. The whole stuff around like the Robin King and everything. Again, it's one. They're quite tight-lipped about exactly what's going to happen in these issues, and like you said, it's like obviously America now, they get their DC books on Tuesday, so a lot of our American viewers and friends will have already read this issue. So again, the stuff that I've heard various bits and bobs being bandied around, but yeah, it's apparently a cameo of who should be the Robin King, and it's going to be interesting to see how it's sort of written in. But in terms of like future key, I think, is it something like Dark Knights, Legends of Death, or something like that? There's a one shot that's been out next week that I think should be his first full appearance, an origin.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're right. I can't remember what it's called though.
So yeah, do check that out. And as Tom says, this is, if you're not reading this series, you know, definitely do. It's well worth.
Stop living in the wrong rock and read it.
That's right. Yeah, we've got Retro Comics in the house as well. How you doing, mate? You all right? I was watching earlier this morning, Tom, and he'd gone out on a nice looking comic crawl to a shop, I think over in Wrexham. Nice. So I had to. Then we got Dino as well, mate. Nice to see you, Dino. So we've got a full on UK crew in here at the moment.
We've got the IG UK comic community.
That's it, the IG comic community. So yeah, do all of the guys who are obviously here, you know, Greyman, Retro Cave, and Dino. Obviously, check out all of their channels, because as I say, we are trying to fight the good fight for the UK comic community. Yeah, UK represent indeed. So we've pretty much covered obviously all this week's sort of key books. So we're going to talk now a little bit about Venom, aren't we, Tom?
Hell yeah.
So he's obviously a really hot topic, and this is completely not intentional. We with everything that happened with a certain comic we're going to talk about in a minute over the weekend and over the last couple of weeks, it's just the way things have been timed, haven't they? So
it's really strange, right? If we hadn't,
we're going to look at a couple of.
If we hadn't gone into lockdown, Venom Week would have been that week, because I set up all my artwork ready to do Venom Week the week before we went into lockdown. So I've been on hold with this for quite some time, and now we've got into doing these spotlights. I thought, I'll just reuse this artwork I've already set up so we can do Venom. Had no idea that the weekend was going to be what it was, about the whole King in Black. So I've kind of stumbled on something brilliant. I'm well chuffed.
It's like, it was as if this was the whole reason why we got hit by the pandemic, was so that everything would coincide with fucking King in Black and everything that's going on with Venom, with prices going through the roof and everything. But anyway, we always start these things to talk about our Spotlight character's first appearance, which is Amazing Spider-Man 300. It's a personal grail of mine that I'd like to think I could get someday. Probably not slabbed and graded in a 9.8, but I think it's one of those ones me and Tom, we spoke about having grails that we buy in a fair, like a lower grade, and then try and, you know, sort of trade up to the ultimate grail of a 9.8, haven't we? And this is definitely one of those books for me.
Yeah, same, mate. I would love to own one, to be perfectly honest, because Venom is one of my favourite characters of all time. And Dino, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, there you go. Tom's art prints. Everybody go and check out Art of Tom Mailing for any of Tom's artwork prints. Do make sure you do that. That's obviously helps Tom out massively. But yeah, obviously it's cover art by Todd McFarlane as well, who's another kind of you've been like fortunate to meet Todd.
I have. He was he was the whole reason I got into artwork. Todd McFarlane was back in the day. That's why I have Spider-Man Torment on my wall. That was one of the first books I ever owned, and then I got into Spawn, and he was my hero. So the whole reason I got into art myself is because of Todd McFarlane, and he was ever such a nice guy to meet. I really did enjoy meeting him. He was a proper legend, really nice guy. To be fair, I was quite lucky to win those tickets to do that.
He wasn't as nice as J. Scott Campbell. J. Scott Campbell's like another level above, though, isn't he, mate? But yeah,
he just a little bit. Yeah. J. Scott Campbell gave me free shit.
Yeah, but and what you should know is I watched Grey Man, as I say, because he's doing his grey boxes. So anybody watching this in the UK, go and help out the Grey Man and buy one of his mystery boxes he's put together. He's just put it on there that he had obviously on his pull list. You know, obviously back in the day when it came out. What was it? 91? Was it, Tom, when this came out?
1988, actually, mate.
So I was a wee nipper, and it was on Grey Man's pull list, and it's one of those things where they never actually gave him the comic, so he's got this one missing still, which is absolutely gutting. But it's one that I want. Price wise, you can pay anything around, probably for a decent quality one, probably around about £250-300 for one raw. I know if you are talking about 9.8s and slabbing it, they are like around the $2,500 mark at the moment, which is obviously, you know, mad money, but it's such an iconic picture, definitely. Dino saying, can you send your Etsy link on Instagram? And there you go. He's doing a live show on Sunday evening, and he's happy to drop the link out for you. So
no, I can't do that.
You can't do that. No.
Yeah, of course I can. No problem. I'll do it after this.
So that would be cool. But yeah, so ASM 300, guys, it's first appearance of Venom. Just absolutely iconic out there. So
great comics as well. I read it yesterday. It's actually a really good story.
Yeah, I had a quick reread of it as well, and it's one of those ones where
the bits in it that are a bit dark and saucy. It's a bit saucy as well.
Saucy. Is this actually like, because I've read quite a lot of Venom, which was the one where Spider-Man was on a date supposed to be on a date with Mary Jane, and he doesn't go and see her? Is that was the other one? Wasn't that Carnage?
This one's where they get a new apartment, and they're taking he's taking pictures, and she says, why don't you become a photographer for taking model shoots? And then the next thing you know, she's got her kit off.
Oh God.
That's what I mean. Saucy, this, isn't he?
Yeah, but I didn't. As I say, I read because the one I've read like last night was the one that we're coming up to. But do you want to go first with your Venom key?
Yes, let's do it, mate. Well, actually, mine isn't actually a key unless you have one of the variants of it. It's just one of my favourite Venom stories.
Cool. Let's go for it then. So
I've gone for Lethal Protector issue 1. I absolutely love this cover, and I think it's because it's like the red foil cover is just epic. I love it. It's all the pencils done by Mark Bagley. It's written by David Michelin, I want to say. I think it's Michelin. I read it as Mitchell.
Yeah, Michelin, yeah.
It came out in February 1993. I actually never had this as a kid, but I recently bought it because I loved the cover. And actually, I had the graphic novel of the full bits with Simon Bisley's artwork on the front. It is epic. I like the story in it. I like how Eddie Brock is trying to make a new name for himself, not anywhere near Spider-Man. And he thinks by helping people and killing the bad guys that he's not a bad guy. He's a good guy trying to do good things. But he keeps killing people. It's like, no, by murdering someone who's a bad person, you're not helping the situation. But yeah, it's a really good comic. I enjoyed this one, to be honest.
Yeah, I it's one of those ones. Again, it's on my list of Venom stuff to buy, and I've not read this. I think I've recently picked up because it's a 5-part of this. Is it the 5 Lethal Protectors? It's 5-parter, isn't it? I've got issue 3 and issue 4, which I think are the keys for Lasher Riot and all them.
Yes, well, because all the symbiotes turn up. Basically, literally every symbiote turns up in this 5-part series. I actually think Carnage makes an appearance, but I'm not entirely sure because I can't remember because I have only read issue 1 again yesterday, so I need to read the rest again.
Yeah, but it's one hell of a. I do agree, mate. It's one of those ones. Yeah. Comic Dino's got a full run. I saw a full run not that long ago on eBay, and I nearly bought it, but it was quite cheap. It was about, well, I say quite cheap, but it was 55 quid, I think, which seemed like a good price. But then I was like, I just didn't pull the trigger.
It's a 6-part. Dino's just corrected us. Nice one, Dino. Thank you very much, pal.
But yeah, I've seen them out there. I think it's one of those ones that I'd like to check the foil out and stuff like that from a condition point of view. I'm just a bit funny with foil covers.
It's because you can't get them pressed or clean because of the foil on them.
Okay.
You know what? Mine isn't worth jack because it's the normal one. But if it was a newsstand, it'd be worth quite a bit. Or the black one is worth.
Well, the black one's ridiculous, isn't it? And the black one wasn't purpose made, was it? The black one was basically where they put it through the franking machine or whatever it was, and the foil didn't stick to the cover, but they still released a limited amount of those books, and that's where the black one is. They had it. There's a guy on another YouTube channel who does mystery box and openings. I think it's called Winking, and he won one of those in the Torpedo Comics mystery boxes. He's one of the only few people who had a decent Torpedo mystery box, but he won.
My internet definitely cut out then because I didn't hear the tour at the start of Torpedo.
Oh, so yeah.
I don't remember you getting any of those kind of boxes.
Yeah, it's a very rare one that's often frowned upon. But no, yeah. So he got one of these, and it was a 9/8 black variant edition, and it's worth like about $4,000 or $5,000. It's mad.
Crazy, mate.
Yeah, but yeah, Dino saying there. To be fair, price was quite low before Venom 2. Definitely would get it. We started something there, mate.
Yeah, that's it. We should start hashtag Torp boxes.
Don't let Torpedo Comics get wind of that though, because God, if that happened, they'd probably sue us. What were you calling our boxes?
Probably get shut down, mate.
Shut down.
We'll end up on pirate radio.
Pirate radio. But yeah, so it brings us to the final book of the evening, which is the one that's obviously hitting all the headlines over the past weekend, and a massive frustration for me because I haven't really known which cover I should buy. And me and Tom, we were talking a bit briefly about this with this Venom 3 of the current Donny Cates run. I'm trying to collect this run at the moment. And I was like, I stalled because I was like, do I want to buy the first print or should I buy the previews exclusive or should I buy just get the second print or should I stump up the cash and buy this scan, whatever, third printing variant edition? Or it's just ridiculous, like, to know which one to buy, but they are exploding in price at the moment. And yeah, I literally, I think I'm going to have to wait till this King in Black event's finished with Null and everything, and hopefully we'll have, it'll allow me to save my pennies or use my Christmas money to get one.
Yeah, I'd say so, mate. It is ridiculously hot, this book. Do you know what? I had this. I had this issue because when I got my stuff from Comic Connections, I had issue 1 to 4, and I couldn't get issue 3 at the time. So when it came out, they saved me. I thought it was a second printing, but I actually had this one, and I'm going to go through all my boxes and see if I can find it, because I have a feeling I might have give it back.
I don't want it. It's right.
You're like, I don't need that. I don't need that anymore, because I'm going to get the graphic novels instead. So I'll be really gutted if that happened. I'm going to have to go through it.
I think not only is this one obviously the one that you've got up on here credited as being the first cover appearance of Null. It's just such a low print run as well, and that's why it is. I think I that it was hitting about $500 over the weekend on it in a 9.8. So just absolutely bonkers. But yeah, Dino's probably right. Just like stick to the regular cover.
Absolutely.
And away you go. Yeah, we were talking about that, weren't we? We were like, if it's for your own personal collection and it's not going anywhere, there's no point really paying for like a really expensive variant or anything like that. Get the standard one, and it's always going to serve you well. So I think that's good advice. I do think so. But yeah, I obviously read it though, most importantly, and I do understand now why it might be hitting the hype, because obviously it has the appearance of Miles Morales in there. And I think it's Miles Morales as a reader, but Venom doesn't know it's Miles Morales. He thinks it's Spider-Man until Miles. And it's just like, and that's quite cool. And it's like, oh, this is new, So there's a bit of humor, a bit of comedy in there, but then it gets very dark. We get to understand a bit about Null. And just that he's a badass, and it's the fact that he projects his sort of conscience into all the other symbiotes, and that's why Eddie's having such an issue with Venom.
Does that come out in this issue?
I think what happens in this one is, I think with this one it's like, because I read issue 4 as well, so bits of it, his origins, he's definitely in issue 4. I've actually got issue 4, thank God. But yeah, but this one, yeah, it's like there's a big dragon thing that they end up fighting.
I can remember if the dragon's in this one or issue 2.
Null kind of comes out of this big like dog demon dragon thing, and then yeah, they kind of like, Miles Morales is like spent because he just Venom like throws Miles Morales in the mouth of like this monster, and that's when Miles like unleashes his shock, and then Miles is spent, like, because obviously it zaps his energy whenever he uses that power, so he's like just unconscious, and like Null's like picking up his limp body and sort of like, oh, what have we got here, But it's sort of, it's. I think it's implied that he isn't actually there, and that I think you see Venom kind of like trail away from Eddie Brock, and it's really creepy. Like Null's kind of like handling like the Venom symbiote and like calling it his child and things, and it's just creepy as heck. Like, but absolute quality.
I just think Null's a really creepy looking character as well, man. Like, you reminds me of like back in the day, if you were in the 1980s and you were watching like, or you're reading like He-Man, how much Skeletor was creepy as hell.
Yeah.
He's like the modern age kind of like really creepy bad guy. Like, he would give you nightmares for sure. Absolutely, for sure.
Yeah.
If they put him in a movie.
Definitely. But I mean, he's all the hallmarks that this guy's going to show up in the MCU and all the rest of it. He's just such a bad guy, and I can't wait for this King in the Black crossover event now, and hopefully by the time that comes out, December, I'll be all caught up. I'll have been able to read a bit more about everything, but also the whole thing with this is you've got the all black necro sword as well, which is all tying into this whole like Venom null thing, and the chopping off the Celestials' heads and stuff like that, which is explained in issue 4, and that ties back to the Guardians again. Donny Cates has wrote a Guardians run, so I just
back to Jason Aaron.
Definitely.
All the God Butchers wields that sword at one point.
Well, you've got that issue, haven't you? You've got that issue 6, and I didn't realise that the significance of that issue is the very first cameo of Null.
Yeah,
that actual issue 6. Thor, it's God of Thunder, you said, isn't it?
Yeah. Issue
God
6.
of Thunder. Yeah. So that is God Butcher at first appearance, but it's the first Null cameo as well. So such a everything's going to come together, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
But that's it, guys. That is us talking about keys this week. So
thanks for coming along, and big shout out to the UK comic community for dropping
YouTube Comic Collective. That's what it's all about. But do keep your eyes out, because we'll be back again live at a similar time around about 6 o'clock, and we'll be talking about our reviews. So we'll review some of the comics that we just spoke about as the keys. Other than that, guys, let us know what you think about this week's keys down in the comments. That would be fantastic to get that kind of feedback if we've missed any, because there were probably 3 or 4 other ones that have dropped in at the last minute as being keys.
Yeah, like Catwoman as well, wasn't there? I remember the Catwoman.
There's apparently a new protagonist in that or something like that. So we'll hold fire with that. I think I might pick that up and read it in case of any crossover into like Joker War as well. So yes, guys, because we have got more Joker War and all sorts of stuff going off this week. So big week in comics. Glad to say that after everything we've been through. Again, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss any of our content. Give us a thumbs up. Thanks to everybody who's came along whilst we've been live. And as I say, see you on Thursday.
Yeah, and I'm going to say, stay safe, look after each other, read loads of comics, please do, and come back on Thursday. See ya. Say goodbye, Rags.
Bye, Rags.